Planning a trip to Jamaica and not sure where to start? I got you. I just got back from a trip to Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Negril, and it was incredible. In this video, I'm breaking down the top things to do, where to stay, how to get around, and what to know before going so your trip is smooth and unforgettable. Hi, I'm Taya. I'm a travel content creator, and I post weekly videos inspiring other content creators how to elevate their brand, land pay collabs, and travel more. I visited Jamaica in February of 2025, and 10 out of 10 recommend going at that time. The weather was amazing. It was sunny every day. I think it only sprinkled twice, and one of those times were throughout our sleep, so it didn't really count. Also, it wasn't overly crowded, which was a plus. February is right in the sweet spot before all of the college spring breaks start, so I highly recommend going during that time frame. I booked Airbnbs in each area, so no hotels, and we rented a car, which gave us so much more freedom, especially when going to so many different parts of Jamaica. Heads up, if you are from the US, just remember that they drive on the left side of the road like they do in England, so give yourself some time to adjust. Let's talk about the areas that I visited, what they felt like, and the overall vibe so you can kind of get a gist when you're planning your trip. Montego Bay had such an interesting vibe because it had the beaches, but it also kind of had like those busy city vibes. And when I say busy city, I don't mean like New York or Atlanta. I just mean like the energy was up. There's a lot of businesses, people going to work, people going to school. So it looks like something is always happening at some time of the day. There's lots of locals walking around. It's definitely a great place to base yourself in if you want a mix of beach and local culture, because you have Doctor's Cave right there in the hip strip area. So everything is pretty close. Businesses are booming. The hip strip is where a lot of the action happens. There's a lot of nightlife there, restaurants, and souvenir shops. That's where we got our souvenirs. We spent, I want to say, 3 days in Montego Bay. So most of our trip was in Montego Bay, but one of those days included a day trip to Ocho Rios. To get to Ocho Rios from Montego Bay, it's about an hour and 40 minutes, depending on the traffic there. So it's not bad, especially if you have rented a car. The main reason that we went to Ocho Rios was to go to Mystic Mountain, which I'll touch on a bit later. This area feels very tailored to tourists, at least the parts that I went to, which was the activity and then the beach. So those two areas were definitely touristy, obviously, because I went. I saw cruise ports. I even saw an area where it said like a special area for the cruise people. I've never seen that on a trip before, so that was interesting. There's like little resort strips and plazas and things like that. So it's definitely your more commercialized part of Jamaica from my experience. Beaches are great, water's nice, sand's beautiful, all the good things. Negril, I really loved the vibe of Negril because it gave me those small beach town vibes, which I really get drawn to now that I think about it. Like when I went to Jaco Beach in Costa Rica, I loved that small beach town vibes. Like you can just walk. Now, Negril isn't as walkable as Jaco. Let me pause. So you have your Fiddlesticks. I wish I remember the area. I can't remember the name, but the area where my Airbnb is like the one part of Negril, and then the other part of Negril is the 7 Mile Beach. So you either stay on this one part, which is like on the caves, and then you have the 7 Mile Beach, which is obviously down along the coast on the water. I just like the variety that they have there, the amount of water activities like the cliff jumping, the different restaurants and places catered and centered around the cliffs. I love how they incorporated the environment within their business. The water was beautiful. It's just much of a slower vibe compared to the other two places that I went to. It felt relaxing, but still adventurous. Based on what I've said so far, which of these 3 areas do you see yourself staying in? Okay, let's get into the good stuff, what to do. These were my absolute favorite activities and experiences for Jamaica. The Rose Hall night tour. Rose Hall was a plantation house way back in the day, and now they're a historic house museum that sheds light and actually spreads awareness to what went on in Jamaica. These tours are offered during the day and at night. During the day, you can walk around the house, learn the history, take pictures, videos, all of that. But At night, they have an interactive element where as you're learning the history of the house, I don't want to spoil it, but as you're learning the history of the house, you may get a little jump scares and spooks. I was jumping and screaming a little bit here and there, but that's all I'm gonna say. You can't take any pictures because they don't want like people to ruin the element of surprise, but I definitely recommend it. It was one of our favorite activities as a group. It was pretty fun, but I love how it taught us the history as well. Bamboo rafting, Leith. I think it's Leith. Bamboo rafting. It is closer to like where we were in Montego Bay. Price-wise, location-wise, what we got for the price just seemed more worth than the Martha Bray one. So that's what we did. It was quiet, it was scenic, and it was a vibe. It wasn't busy at all. And there were even locals out there. Mystic Mountain. This was so much fun. We did the bobsled and ragamuffin combo. I know you're probably like, what? Because I was like, what? When I first heard of those things. But the bobsled is when you're like in this little bobsled, I guess, sled, and you control your speed. It's like your own roller coaster through the forest and the mountains and stuff. And then the ragamuffin was kind of like a short roller coaster ride where you're like dangling to this beautiful view. And I did it. I'm scared of roller coasters. I don't like roller coasters, but I did this. So if I did it, you can do it. Trust. I watched a few YouTube videos to see if I could. There was barely any videos on it, but I did it. It was a little crazy, but that bobsled, so much fun. They also have other types of packages like zip lining, but we've never bobsledded before and have ziplined twice now, so we decided to do something new. The Extabi Caves and Rick's Cafe. Extabi, I feel like, is a very slept on gem. It's beautiful. They have a restaurant and bar and place where you can just sit and lounge and stuff. It's intended for cliff jumping, and they have different levels. If you're feeling big and bold, you can just jump off the top, but they also have like 3 to 4 other platforms of different heights for people who don't want to jump in as high or just want to walk in. They literally have an area where you can take the stairs down and then you're in like the cave and then you just walk out and you're literally in the water. So I really liked that. The people that work there are nice and friendly. We went back a few times just because we enjoyed it that much. Rick's Cafe was also fun. It's definitely popular and it is worth the hype. The food is good, which was a surprise. You know, usually you go to these big hyped up places and the food just doesn't hit because they don't put that much into it, but this food was good. It's definitely a must for the cliff jumping scene and if you just want to have a nice time, a nice night in Negril. And then definitely snorkeling in the Negril Coral Reef. I still love the fact that I can say that I snorkeled in the Negril Coral Reef. So cool. We kind of just fell into this. All of the companies were trying to charge us an arm and a leg, but we actually talked to these nice locals. They brought us out on their fishing boat, gave us a little life jacket. We already had our snorkeling gear, so that was covered. He steered us out to the reef, put his little boat in park, told us where the reef was, gave us some tips like the water is choppy, and then was like, have fun, go nuts. And we did. It was so cool. The coral reef is so vibrant and full of life. We saw so many different types of marine life. And then he took us back to the beach, back to shore. So I definitely recommend just talking to the locals and doing the things that you would like to do. It's like supporting your local small businesses, you know. If you want to see more about my adventures in Jamaica, check out my Jamaica travel vlog linked in the description below. Here's some quick tips that made a huge difference for me when traveling in Jamaica. Cash is key. I always have my travel credit card, but it definitely helped having some Jamaican dollars and US dollars. Pro tip, exchange your cash in Jamaica in a small little shop because you can find it for a good exchange rate price in comparison to in the US or at the airport. Never, ever, no matter where you are, exchange your cash at the airport. Tip 2, parking is not always free, so definitely ask when you're about to park just to make sure. You'll likely be paying someone cash if you know what I mean, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Get a rental car. You do not want to be walking in hot Jamaica. Taxis are not as easy to find as if you're in a big city, so you'll definitely have to walk if you don't get a rental, and it'll be more challenging going to different parts of Jamaica without a rental car. 4, just a heads up, dining takes time. It's very normal, and by normal, I didn't have a meal come out to me in 30 minutes or less when going to eat somewhere. Make sure you plan accordingly. Go sit down before you get hungry so that when your food does get here, you're just now starting to get hungry, or you are hungry and you're not starving and in a bad mood. The food is delicious, and deliciousness takes time. Be patient. And then lastly, the people are amazing. Do not be afraid to talk to them. Everyone I met was so friendly, helpful, and warm. I felt welcome the entire time. I know Jamaicans have this rep for having a bad attitude, but I mean, just use your common sense when talking to people and you won't really experience a bad attitude. Everyone was just good vibes. If you've made it to this point of the video, comment rental so I can know who my real ones are. This trip was honestly one of the best getaways I've had in a minute. The food, the people, the water, the energy, 10 out of 10. It was a dream. I would definitely go to Jamaica again, but I would want to visit other parts of Jamaica. I feel like if I would repeat any places, it would be Negril. Whether you're currently planning a trip to Jamaica or just adding it to your future bucket list, I hope this gave you some inspiration and helpful tips. Don't forget to like, comment what area you'd want to stay in, and subscribe for more creator and travel content. See you next week.